round. It's going to be underscore Seth versus Robert 6400. I believe we have done warm-ups, so we're going to be heading into protects and bans now. Robert winning the roll, which means Robert gets to either protect or ban first. Seth already having a point on the board. Let's Seth is gonna go for that protect. Robert's gonna go for that protect first, actually. So probably won't be surprised to see some probably one of the more shorter rise picks like image material or even Inferno. Something where Robert can get an easy point off Seth, but Seth is a deadly good Rice player, so you definitely don't want to count Seth out the woods. But actually, go for hybrid 2 protect, so that's gonna be Puberty getting the protect. Which that means it'll be Seth's protect, going for long note 1, going for the timing hell. No, it's up to Robert, no, it's up to Seth actually for the ban. I'll be surprised if Seth goes for like maybe Rice 4, maybe like one of the Rice picks maybe, but Rice 2 gonna get the ban, so yeah, like I said, Rice 2 or one of the Rice picks gonna get the boot here. Our jump stream pick. So loser does go home and winner moves on to their conditional. And Robert gonna ban Rice 6, so it's gonna be probably a more hybrid and long note focused battle. But anyway, it is Robert's first pick. Here we go. And gonna go for LN3. So Flame of the Rebellion. Kind of makes sense. This is I would consider it a hybrid at this point. It definitely has that balance of the Rice and long note side of things. But then when you get into the second half of that chart, that's where the long note really shows. MP start being thrown. Gonna get ready into this first map of this match of our best of 9, first to 5. I saw Rob taking an early lead, as this map is short, only 2 minutes and 5 seconds, so every judgment does count, as Seth immediately takes that lead back. As this is kind of a risky pick for Robert because Seth has the long note ability as well. Seth being one of the greatest well-rounders in this tournament, I would say. So Robert gonna have to kind of give a bit of a test for Seth here. But actually, Robert not too far behind from Seth as we're a quarter in already. Ooh, Seth fighting a Wither 200s as it's going back and forth now. It's super close with it flicking back and forth, going to Robert then going to Seth. As Robert might have found a couple 200s on those LNs, which is going to give Seth the lead now. As the first half of the map is almost concluded. Continuing on into the second half of the chart, Seth holding on to the 99.58, but Robert not too far behind, 99.4 actually, dropping the accuracy down a bit, 0.2, about 0.2%, about 0.2% separating these two right now. But there is still this long transition. Robert finds a break, first break of the match, as Seth will be running away with this lead now. Unless we see a really nasty drop from Seth, there are still some long notes left. The map is not over yet. Seth is not out of the woods just yet, but it's gonna have to take something devastating to swing that lead over to Robert. But as of now, Seth is going to take the first point and the first break point of this match. Only 8 200s. As we can see how close these ratios are. Despite Robert doing really well, actually no missing the chart. And Seth only with 8 200s. Robert not too far behind with 21. Uh, Robert almost getting tripled the 200 count, really close. As Seth is now going to go for Ro16 image material. So our speed pick, it's very short and sweet. Like same with long note 3, really short and sweet. So we're going to switch it up actually and head to the rice component of this tournament, or of this match. These 200 BPM streams are sort of like really easy to hit. It's just mainly though how many judgments you drop. I think combo won't be an issue for any of these players. It will mainly just be probably those judgments, like I said, those 200s, those misses, those 100s. Just overall the accuracy in the end. But here we go, underway with Ro16. Seth looking to increase that lead 2 to 0, while Robert is looking to tie things up. As we continue on through this chart, Robert actually having the accuracy lead over Seth. I think Seth might have found a couple 200s in these stream sections as we're already halfway through the chart. This lead is starting to get closer and closer. Robert up to that 99.8 margin. Seth not too far behind. Is just, I think, Robert maybe even having the ratio. You'd imagine it being it potentially being closer if Seth did actually find a 200, and probably would have been even in the hundreds. But as Seth continues dropping their accuracy down, Robert also dropping their accuracy too with these judgments. As things are starting to get really close near the end. Oh, but Seth finds another 200. Robert finds a miss. That is detrimental as the lead immediately swings to Seth. As that is going to close things out, Seth will be taking this point and a 2-0 win. As you can see, Robert actually having the better ratio. Robert showing off the ratio against Seth. It was just that miss that threw everything apart. And I feel like that is what will separate these two the most, is mainly just, like I said, combo wasn't such an issue for both players until Robert found that break at the end, which really set this map in stone. But now it is now Robert's pick, so they still have a pick to redeem themselves on. They could go for another rice pick, seeing how well it went for them. Maybe something like Here in My Arms or On Edge are up for grabs. I don't know about blast off. That's quite risky. Or they could go for the protect, which was puberty. As Robert kind of forgot the map pool. Robert gonna go for Rice 3 actually. Gonna go for blast off. This was the chart I was talking about. That could be pretty risky. But we're just gonna have to see how things go with this map. Robert probably gonna try to keep up the same mentality as they were doing on Rice 1. Probably trying to win off of the ratio in general. After seeing how Seth performed on Rice 1, would not be surprised if Robert was going to continue on the trend, seeing them having the better ratio in the end when it comes to Rice. Probably wanting to capitalize and take a point off of Seth. As this match is probably one of the most important matches for both these players, because one of these players have to go home. As these mini jacks and these trills come in, Robert finding an early miss. I mean, not miss, 200. But there's a miss from Robert. But thankfully that was extremely early in the chart. Not even the 400 combo cap has been reached. So there is lots of room for Robert to climb back, but Robert finds another miss. That was pretty nasty compared to their first miss, as Robert is slowly reaching up to that 99 mark. Seth finding a bit of 200s themselves, dropping them down to the 99.7s. But Robert climbing up fast, as this is really short, just under 2 minutes. As we continue on through the chart, around almost the halfway mark has been reached. As Seth finds a massive break. Lots of misses on that transition, as that lead is gonna go to Robert now, but it is extremely close. I feel like Seth might have just almost tied down to Robert's miscount. Those were a lot of 50s and misses, but Robert had the accuracy disadvantage. But now as we progress further in the chart, Robert is actually going to run away with this lead. Seth finding another miss. Robert is going to have to hold on. Robert finds a miss. Things are going to really come down to the wire now. I think if Robert finds another break, Seth could potentially take it back, but there is not enough map left. Robert will be taking their first point. And as we could see, that one section from Seth really threw everything off. 9 misses from Seth. And I think even without those misses, Seth probably... Actually, I think Seth would definitely have taken the point. But you also have to keep in mind Robert's misses as well. If none of these players missed, Robert would have taken that point either way. But now it's Seth's pick, and they're going to go for Exile. LN2. This is a more or less kind of a either love or hate chart, I would say. Either you love the long notes or you hate them, or you just like to complain about the mini jacks because you can't hit them. But out of the LN picks that I've seen, I think this one got picked most. Out of all the matches I've looked at, this one was picked the most. as MP start has been thrown. I believe this is a bit of an advantage for Seth, as I have no clue about Robert's long note gameplay. I know Robert performed pretty well on LN3, almost winning off of it. It was just that break, as Robert actually, I think, out-ratioed Seth at one point. So Robert gonna have to hopefully not find a break throughout this entire chart, unless Seth finds one, to keep things sort of in the sort of on the same level. Because that's what matters for both players. Both players need to be on the same level. Because if one is above the other, that will guarantee them a spot for that point. As Robert finds an early break, as we are just reaching the drop of the chart, but there is lots of room. There's still that tricky that one-hand trill section that is upcoming, that Seth could potentially trade that miss back, or that slider break from, as that was a relatively clean miss from Robert, as they're actually keeping their accuracy relatively stable from that drop. Robert quickly climbing up, almost up to that 99.5, as Robert finds another miss on that slider, as we'll be continuing through this chart. Seth just running away with it, but here comes this one-hand trill, or I mean not one-hand, here comes the long trill section. We're finding lots of 200s on this section, but Seth just powerhousing through. And now here comes the one-hand trill release section. Robert finding an early break into that section. Seth still holding on. There is still the ending. The ending definitely sticks out as as the pinnacle of this chart. The laughing stock. These mini jacks starting to build up now, as both players finding tons of 200s, but Seth, I think, has enough lead to work with, as Seth going to win off of Exile, as Robert finds breaks at the end, as Seth really showing their power with more long note side of things. 13 200s. $984K from Seth, as Robert actually $938K, not too bad actually. As we can see as well, these ratios are really close actually, only by roughly 70 to 7,300. So Robert definitely can keep up with ratio. It was just with those, mainly just those 200s getting to them, as well as those misses. As now we're gonna see Robert's protect. Hybrid 2 puberty. I feel like this is the perfect pick for Robert actually. Makes 100% sense that Robert has protected this chart from seeing both Longnote and Rice. I feel like this is just a safe spot for Robert out of the three hybrids. But I don't think it's gonna be a one-sided game here. I feel like Seth still has that ability to snatch a point from Robert and make it match point. MP start has been thrown, and here we go, underway with Hybrid 2. As this is also quite a pattern with the map pools being extremely short actually, under that 2-minute mark, so every judgment will matter. Robert having almost their tournament life on the line here, pretty much, with what could potentially be their last pick. But if we've seen anything from Robert, is that they can pull off surprises at a alarmingly fast rate. As Seth finding an early 200, But oh my goodness, these scores are really close out of the first main section of the chart. Only just a few hundredths of a percent between these two. As Seth actually slowly taking the accuracy advantage from Robert, as we're already a third in the chart. It's pretty much a blink twice and you'll miss pretty much half the chart of just how fast it goes by. Maybe that is a reason why Robert protected. You want to go for a short and sweet chart that you are comfortable with. But holy, look at this score difference. Seth just barely holding on to that lead. 99.73 to 99.6. This will be a crucial breakpoint for Seth, looking to try and bring this to match point, but Robert will not be going out without a fight. As there's only a bit of map left, Seth looking like it's pretty much their game, but there is still map left. Even the slightest of breaks could swing the lead into the opponent's favor, but it's not going to happen, as Seth will be taking it 991k, as Robert not too far behind 984, as Robert actually beating Seth in ratio again. This is pretty much Robert's advantage against Seth, is that ratio, but Robert having to lower those bad judgments, as Seth only two 200s from that, like only two 200s from Seth. But Robert, despite losing their pick, still a very impressive score, as it's now a match point for Seth. And it is their pick too. It was a break point. Going for LN1. Going for Blue Rose here. Looking to shut the door on Robert and to move on to their conditional match. Yeah, whoever wins this match goes on to either verse Mathia or Mitter. And seeing just how well these two have performed. I feel like if either Mathia or Mitter wins their match, it's going to be an exciting conditional match. As I believe the map is on our side, I believe the map is doing a bit of funny things to our streaming client. Or hold on a second, should go check the MP link here. Oh, okay, we have everything under control now. I think we had to abort something. But here we go. Match point for Seth going into Blue Rose. Lots of crazy things can happen though, as this map is the longest besides Tiebreaker, reaching over that 3-minute mark. Let's hope none of these players are sight reading, as Seth might have found Robert's weakness. If there's something that we saw, Long Note 2 can really explain it, with Exile definitely being one of Robert's weaknesses, as we saw Robert having not the greatest 200 count, but Seth having a really good score, I think even an FC. So we have seen astoundingly good performance on Long Notes, but it's just on the lookout for Robert and the 200 count, as we can already see Robert almost dropping down to that 98 section of the chart, but it's relatively early actually, so there is still plenty of room. But it's just those 200s are definitely gonna make an impact if this keeps up, especially during the late later part of the chart. But Seth right now 99.7, as Robert, despite those early 200s, up to 99.2, as it's pretty calm throughout the entire chart. Nothing really dense. It's just mainly just like it says in the difficulty name. It's a timing hell question mark. It's not to a point where it's a literal hell to play through, but it's just mainly just focusing on your timing. As we progress further, a third in the maps, both players relatively keeping the same accuracy as they had a quarter in. As Seth with it, 99.7. Robert actually dropping down to 99.1 now. Things are slowly starting to... It looks like everything is coming up Seth's way. But we have just reached the back half of the chart. This is where things start to matter more. This is where misses really begin to matter, as well as even bad judgments can go. As we can see by this lead, Seth is leading right now, but not by much. One nasty break and it could flip to Robert's side any day of the week. But if there's one thing that we've seen from Seth, it is their insanely good consistency. As actually both players having good consistency. Robert dropping their accuracy down even more, almost down to the 98% now. As they've reached that 98 section, Seth still holding on. 99.6, dropping their accuracy down from what they had before. Finally coming down to earth for a bit, but still. As there's not much map left, as Seth's lead is beginning to increase now. It looks like it's... There is still map left. There is still room for mistakes. If we've seen something, it was from Ro16 where Seth found those chains of 50s and misses and gave the lead to Robert, but it looks like it's not going to happen here. There's not much map left, and Seth is going to take the victory and win 5-1 against Robert. Only getting 10 200s. As we can see from Robert, despite the FC, those judgments can speak for itself. Nice score, 967k, not bad at all. Unfortunately, we are going to have to say goodbye to Robert 6400. If Robert has 6400 fans, I'm one of them. But as of Seth, they will be moving on to their conditional match against either Mathia or Mitter. So congratulations to Seth for winning your first for winning your first losers bracket match out of 2 in this round. But we have a bit of a block coming up ahead. We have actually quite a pretty big block. It goes from 21 UTC all the way to 3 UTC. And we're going to be kicking it off with Twitch Chat versus Kevin RJF. I believe that might be a conditional, actually. I'm unsure. But either way, there's that match happening at 21 UTC. And then there's GS Link and Envy, and Damex Damu and Carrots, a doubleheader at 22 UTC. As I believe once we continue with this block, we'll be going through more of these matches. But for now, I'm Walmart5193. Thanks for watching, and so long, everybody.